One of the biggest indicators that I see of divorce among our clients is not being on the same page financially with your spouse. Oftentimes we will see this as keeping separate finances. Now, not that keeping separate finances can be a bad thing. For some relationships that works, but when there is you have to analyze why you're keeping those separate finances. Is it a lack of trust? Is it fear? Then that could be a red flag that perhaps your marriage is headed towards divorce. Another big component that we see in the cases that we get that end up in divorce are marriages where mental health is an issue. And I'm not talking about just your general kind of, anxiety or depression. It's usually a lot more. It's more serious kinds of mental health issues, something that's persistent for years, and also other health issues. Sometimes the other person's health it becomes a stress and a burden on the relationship and gradually kind of wears away at it. And so dealing with those mental health issues day in and day out, walking on eggshells, never really knowing what to expect, that can really create a lot of friction. And so marriages that are often involve those kinds of issues can end up in divorce. I think a lot of people get married with expectations that they don't express to each other before they get married. And so when they get married, they're surprised, and those surprises can lead to divorce. So, if you have a situation where the expectation on one party, say your husband, is that you will be the one who stays home with the children, but your expectation is like, no, I'll have the children and then we're going to co-parent the children. That's something that you guys probably should talk about, make sure that you're clear on, because over time, that's going to create conflict and cause a lot of friction in that those expectations about the different roles in your household have just misaligned and can lead to divorce. Another factor that we see in our divorces is a lack of trust and communication between the parties. So say you and your husband, used to be great, and then something starts to break down that communication. Maybe you suspect something's happening, like he's committing adultery, or maybe you're committing adultery. The trust is broken down. It doesn't even have to be adultery, right? Like trust can be worn down on so many levels without adultery. And so if you don't communicate and actively nurture your relationship, slowly that erodes, you guys stop talking, and then next thing you know, you're waking up next to a stranger or living apart in different rooms, and divorce is really the last option. If you want to learn more about whether or not your marriage is headed for divorce, whether you're showing any red flags or red signs of divorce, please reach out to us, Alexandra Geczi Family Law, at www.familylawdfw.com.